The rest of them, nah, they married outside the community.
Do they come home?
Well, this is not home to most of them. I was the only one that actually, well, me and the one that died that were born here. The rest of them were born in Michigan. Denver, New Orleans. My oldest sister was born in New Orleans. No, they didn't marry from around here.
So your parents traveled?
My mother and father divorced when I was 6 years old. And my mother had custody of me. My father had custody of the other kids. And they traveled, him being a minister. But I traveled as a musician, you know. My mother, she stayed pretty well in New York. I rode a Greyhound bus from New York to Zanesville when I was 9 years old by myself. That's why I was a traveling man.
Was there anyone to help you to move from one bus to the next? Did you have to?
The bus driver would, back in those days when children would travel alone, your parents would tell them, say, well, he's got to change buses in Pittsburgh. I say Pittsburgh because that was the changeover spot then and now. The bus driver would see to it that you got on the other bus.
Were you ever frightened to travel like that, alone?
Nah. I ran away from home when I was 7 years old, 8 years old, and walked from Newark to Zanesville.
Walked from New York to Zanesville?
From Newark, Ohio.
Where is that?
Newark? Newark is about 23, 24 miles from Zanesville, west.
How long did it take you?
I left in the late afternoon. I got here the next morning. So no, I'm not scared to travel alone.
What prompted you to leave home?
I was gonna get a whooping. They hurt.
And did you end up getting one?
No, because I wouldn't go home with my mother. And the cops wanted to know why. I said, because she gonna whoop me. And they wouldn't let her whoop me, so I had to go home. But I didn't like that whooping stuff. That wasn't fun.
Who are some of the important people in your life, in your childhood? For instance, when you will come back to Zanesville at when you ran away at the age of 7, who would be here that would embrace you, provide warmth and comfort?
There was a lady, her name was Emma Frazier. She lived on Jackson Street. Everybody called her Cousin M. And that's what the headlines read for that day. Boys 7 walked from Newark to Zanesville just to see Cousin M. But I didn't tell them, they didn't put about the whooping I was gonna get. But that was the subtitle in the paper.
And she took you in?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And then when my mother moved to New York, they decided to leave me here because they was afraid that I would run away from New York and try to come back to Zanesville. And she took me off and became my, what they call it, legal guardian. Um, yeah, that's how that happened. But Emma Frazier, then Zanesville had a lot of black people that, unless you're familiar with the area, you're probably not familiar with the people, but they had black musicians, artists, other sports players that played back then and still playing in the pros and stuff from right here in Zanesville.
Besides yourself, who are some of the other athletes that will make a name for themselves um, in Zanesville?
That made a name for
Yeah,
themselves?
African American athletes that made a name for themselves.
Well,
Besides you.
you had Bobby Gators, played professional ball for the New York Giants. Bill Porter's my friend.
He plays for.
He played football. He played at Indiana, University of Indiana. You had Clarence Jones, his name is Clarence Pee Wee Jones, played for the Chicago White Sox, Tokyo Bears as a baseball player. He had Harry Johnson, was a Tuskegee pilot. Bobby Gators was a jet pilot for the Marine Corps. The name goes on, endless. But you had to be here to know them, you know. I just named a few of them, but there's Jay Payton plays for Oakland right now. You know, he's playing pro ball from Zanesville.
How about in the way of musicians, entertainers, musicians, artists? Names of some of the people who, besides yourself, will have a career outside of Zanesville?
Well, you had Shelley Kalau, you had Stanley Morris, you caught me off guard there.
Who was in your group? Name of the men that sang in your group.
The singer of my group, you had Dave Brent, Levi Brent, Raymond Norris, Bill Portis, and myself.
Who was in charge of booking you guys?
Dave Brent's father.
And some of the places would you play Columbus?
We played in high school. We played Columbus East. Most of our bookings were out of town. We played with Lionel Hampton in Cleveland.
Were you ever in Detroit?
As a singer? No, but I've been to Detroit many a time. I had a chance once to sing six-man on one of the groups, but I wouldn't take it. Too much work. It's one thing to learn the baritone and tenor, second tenor, and then learn all of them. You know, it's not fun. And you had to learn all the parts to be the sixth man, because you never knew when you was gonna fall and where. You know, who was gonna be sick, whose place you had to take. That wasn't for me.
And you would make a career. Your career would be in Zanesville after returning from the Marines. Your career here will be. How will you make a living for yourself here?
In Zanesville? There's no money. There was no money for a black man in Zanesville. When I came out the Marine Corps, I left and went to New York. I worked for the government. I was what's called interior decorator, which I was a painter and wallpaper man, but I was a supervisor. Made a nice income. You know, but no, there wasn't no money for me in Zanesville. I was sort of militant now, so you know, I didn't go for that crap, you know. So there was no future here for me.
Of the football games that you would play, which is most memorable? High school games. Do you have a game that you recall more so than any other?
Yes. We played Dresden. Is that the name of it?
Is it Columbus?
No, we beat on Columbus like Grant beat on Richmond, you know. Dresden is going like towards there was a little school. Dresden was a little school that Zanesville hadn't lost to in 19 years. And we lost one game that year, and it was to Dresden.
Why did you lose?
I blame it on the coaches. They probably blame it on me or one of the other guys. They didn't prepare for the game. You know, that was Dresden. We had to worry about them. Let's go on to some other school who was playing the week after that. You know, they overlooked them.